Being an adult has made me view characters that were looked at as killjoys in the past in a new light. I'm beginning to realize that we owe these characters an apology. One of those characters being Benson Dunwoody. This hard-crusted yet soft-hearted guy that we know as someone with a short fuse and a love for order. In the show, he is shown as a serious blue gumball machine with a clipboard and short patience. As the manager of the park, Benson had to deal with many challenges on a daily basis. Most of these issues were caused by his workers Mordecai and Rigby. Mordecai and Rigby tried to do things right, but they always messed up normal jobs in crazy ways. Benson, trying to keep things in order, often made him yell a lot. Moreover, Benson struggled with his own temper, which often gets the best of him when his employees pushed him to the brink. His efforts to balance professionalism with the chaos around him showcase the difficulty of being a manager in an unconventional workplace like the park. Apart from this, Benson faced external threats and challenges. These challenges depict the unpredictable nature of his job and the resilience required to keep the park running smoothly. But Benson remained persistent and overcame all these challenges. Looking back at older episodes, I realized Benson deserved better. If another person was in his position, they would fire Mordecai and Rigby in the first episode. But Benson is different. He has a heart, he truly cares about them, and he sincerely wants to teach them responsibility and encourage them to take their jobs seriously. Even listening to Benson's monologue again, it is so mature because even adults are unaware of the implications of their actions and how they affect those around them. People constantly make excuses and try to shift the blame to someone else. They refuse to accept responsibility for their actions. This is one of the reasons a lot of people enjoy the regular show. There were so many reasons why Benson should have been loved from the start. One reason I felt horrible for Benson when rewatching the show was because of his justified rage. Sure, Mordecai and Rigby are still my childhood favorites, but Benson is still the character I believe deserved more. I will always have a lot of respect for him because, despite his rage, he cares about his people and only gets furious for legitimate causes. Benson is essentially a parent yelling at their children. He was initially portrayed as an angry boss, but as the series progressed, the character became more seen. For example, consider his family during the anger episode. In the cart trip episode, he expressed his genuine frustration, and in the Mississippi Queen episode, he discussed his personal living style. Essentially, he was redeemed as a compassionate individual who is misunderstood because of his job and lack of interaction with others. This episode excellent was not his fault since he was brainwashed. He's only trying to do his best, but he has to watch everyone else play around and not take their work seriously, forcing him to pick up the slack. His work was very important to him. Benson only gets angry when they don't do their tasks, which is all the time, but when they do and show promise, he hypes them up. Like when he thought they arrived an hour early for a meeting or served waffles and cleaned the kitchen. But a lot of how we viewed him has to do with when the show aired. Many of us were children when we first started watching regular show. We didn't understand Mordecai and Rigby's slacking was juvenile and would get them fired from most professions. And what a great deal they have, no rent and a lovely home. Working beside your best friend. I believe it is easier to relate to Benson now that we are adults. Then you can finally understand him. Many people bring up the best burger in the world episode when discussing how awful of a character he was. He didn't give Mordecai and Rigby a break. Instead, he booted them out of the cart and ate their burgers, which they had paid for. He wasn't wholly at blame for attempting to kill the two because he had been brainwashed, but in the other two episodes, he made up for everything he did. It was cruel, but he apologized and made amends in the end by assisting Mordecai in winning the challenge for Rigby. Benson is supposed to be the cranky boss, and Mordecai and Rigby are supposed to be the fun-loving friends who the kids can identify to and root for, but one episode that transformed the way I saw the show was Busted Cart. This episode impacted my perspective on the characters. It involved the cart being destroyed by Mordecai and Rigby, and Benson now has to drive dozens of miles to the golf cart dealership before the warranty expires or he would be fired. Long story short, Mordecai and Rigby tag along with him without his permission and volunteer to take the wheel so Benson can sleep. Finally, the two find an arcade where they waste a lot of their time. Benson awakens furious, and he has one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the show, where he has a mental breakdown addressing how Mordecai and Rigby may not care about the consequences, but the consequences can still affect other people. Benson stops yelling and begins to cry, realizing that he is about to lose the only thing he has, his job. As an adult, this scene changed the way I saw these characters. I now saw the millions of chances he gave these irresponsible kids even when they were undeserving. It served as a reality check for my younger self. Another episode that changed my perspective of Benson was the time when he found love and friendship. In the part called Benson's Suit, viewers see the other side of Benson. When his old friend from college, Jean, visits him, Benson shows how expressive he is. Excited to show off a successful life, Benson chooses to go to a gathering organized by his old school friends. This decision started a set of things that make Benson face his doubts and understand he may have spent too much time on work. But it also showed me how much he sacrificed and gave to his work. That it was more than just a job for him. It was something he was proud of. Benson, like Squidward, becomes the character everyone roots for as they get older. Regular show ran for about 8 years, and over the course of the show, Benson became less grumpy and Mordecai and Rigby became more mature. As a kid, you root for the heroes, and as an adult, you understand the villains. We see Benson as a buzzkill who is always ruining the fun for our main characters that we love, Mordecai and Rigby. Then when we rewatch it, we start to realize not everything is black and white when it comes to how people are. We recognize that both Mordecai and Rigby and their boss Benson both have flaws and are capable of making bad choices. Benson was at fault for being insensitive when Rigby fell into a coma. However, other times it was definitely Mordecai and Rigby's fault for never doing their work and sometimes even jeopardizing Benson's job and reputation because of it. Benson always protected his team and took responsibility for them when things didn't turn out right. Mordecai and Rigby usually make a mess. They always land in trouble when they try to have fun all day, trying to slack their duties. When Benson, the park manager, learns about all the messes, usually he yells at them and warns that they might be fired, but he never really does. He always thought that his leadership was the main problem, not just the workers. Through the series, Benson shows different leadership skills and methods that can be used in real life to manage organizations. By looking at how Benson led and acted, we can learn to use his skills to manage our work. There is a lot that we can learn from Benson's leadership skills as the manager of the park. One important lesson from the show is that managers should not force workers to do their jobs. Instead, they could try to motivate their workers by giving them bonuses or rewards for performing well. Pizza parties don't count. This is a nice way for managers to get their workers working. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think he was justified in his anger? Or do you still believe he was too hard on them? Comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like, share, and turn on post notifications so you won't miss a video. Thanks for watching.